right, everybody. I am so excited, Janelle, to have you back on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Welcome. Glad to be here.
So I know we've had an opportunity a couple times now to talk, and you are doing some new things in the industry. And so I was like, I have got to have Janelle back on the show so we can talk about what she's doing, what's going on in her world. So you want to just start off by telling us a little bit about where you've been and what you're doing now?
Absolutely. Grab some popcorn, guys. This is going to be a fun and entertaining show. I'm thrilled to be here. Can't thank you enough, Jill. What you're doing in the ortho industry with this podcast has been phenomenal. Love all the new episodes. But for those that don't know me, I am Janelle. I am currently the sales and marketing rep for an online social media course called Busy, which I would love to talk in great detail about later. But in addition to that,
Yes.
more personal note, I am now back to surprising people with a personalized singing telegram as a certified clown. I'm also very busy in the improv field of improv acting here in Buffalo, New York, where I love taking both of those things and really channeling all of that creativity that I get from them and pouring it into my social media content, where you're going to see a lot of my ortho related skits on my social media pages that are brand new called the Ortho Influencer. But on a more professional note, I'm still heavily involved in the ortho industry as a KOL for Lightforce, a social media companion for OrthoFi. I'm also doing some more TC coaching on the side, where I really hone in onto teaching TCs and offices how to enhance their office culture and really differentiate their patient experience.
Oh, that is wonderful. And you've got just such great energy and great skills. So I know that anybody you are touching in your coaching and training is, I'm sure, just getting a ton out of it and are, really blessed to be working with you. So
Thanks.
let's talk a little bit about, you said it, Busy, what you're doing with Busy. Let's talk just a little bit about that and what's going on in that field.
Yeah, the last two times that I've been on this episode, I was a TC out here in Buffalo, New York at Asco Orthodontics. So I've had a career change and I resigned from being a TC about 6 months ago. And the opportunity literally landed in my lap. I met Dr. Ben Winters, who's an orthodontist, famously known as the dentist in the social media world. And you actually interviewed him at your Ortho Evolution conference. And that's where I first met him last year.
Yes.
And while you were interviewing him, he said he was doing this online social media course where he's going to teach orthodontists how to organically grow their social media accounts so that they can learn and do it the right way and not pay for companies to post to their social media. So immediately I went back to Dr. Rob. I was like, do you want to do this course? And he was like, my hands are in too many pots. You invest in it on your own. So for 6 months, July to January, I stalked the internet looking for the dentist social media online course, and there was nothing. And then he happened to be on your podcast and he dropped the course live, and it's called Busy. And so I jumped on a discovery call with him and he told me all about the course and all the great valuable things in the course. And at the end, I said, okay, so what happens next? Your sales rep calls me and gets me started, all that jazz. And he was like, no, I don't have a sales rep. I have been looking for someone that knows ortho, knows social media, knows sales, and as good as it has a fun personality. And without hesitation, it just came out. And I was like, well, that sounds like me. And he was like, who are you? So there was like 3 minutes left to our discovery call, and the opportunity to work with him literally fell in my lap. I can tell you, I got off the phone. I was shaking. I was like, I just got a job opportunity with the dentist. This is my calling. So it's been a great ride. I'm his sales and marketing rep, and
Yes.
it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I love that story. And for you just to see your evolution and transition in this field is really exciting. So as you have been working with Ben and working with Busy, I would love to find out. We've got listeners, we've got the inside scoop here, next best thing here. So let's talk a little bit about what are some of the important things that you guys are recognizing you're working with doctors on when it comes to social media and what they need to be paying attention to.
Great question. We could talk for about 2 hours. Is that okay? This is a 2-hour episode.
We no problem, no problem. Like you said, get some popcorn. We're in it for the long haul.
Missy has been a complete game changer for all the practices that have joined us. And what's really great is Ben first started this. He's an orthodontist, and he started this thinking it was going to be for orthodontists, and we were going to market it to orthodontists. But as he spoke at conferences, there was general dentists and all sorts of specialists in those conferences. So now our clients are not just orthodontists. We have general dentists, periodontists. We have a plastic surgeon. I mean, it's crazy. So it's really been successful. But I could say, as far as like what we're seeing, is the biggest thing any office needs before they jump into going into this course or things like that is they have to have that go-to person that's going to handle their social media course. There's a time social media
Mhm.
accounts. There is a lot of time spent with watching the course, learning from it, and also researching social media. And that's what a lot of these doctors didn't realize until they learned from Ben in the course, that it's not just teaches you not to just take your phone and scroll and enjoy all the TikToks. Really digest what makes these pieces of content go viral, and what is it about it? Is it the lighting? Is it the text? Is it the message they're trying to say? And how are they doing it? What are they not doing? So there's a lot of things that go into what makes a piece go viral. And so he really wants them to spend time researching that and things like that. So some of our doctors jumped onto this course thinking, yeah, I'm going to take this course, I'm going to learn it. And then they realize, oh, I don't have time. So if you're really gung-ho about growing your practice organically and using your patients and using your team members, make sure you have a dedicated person that can run the social
Mm.
media. And Ben tells me all the time, before we know it, almost every orthodontic office or any business out there is going to have a social media manager. It can all be done in-house using these people. I would say that's one of the things that we're finding the most out of the course.
Yeah, that's great. And any changes? I feel like you are my go-to team when I want to know what's the hottest, what is the tiny peek behind the curtain to the future. I feel like Ben and yourself really have a good pulse on this. And I'm going to just ask this question. I keep getting and hearing thread.
Yeah.
Let's what should we be doing threads, and what is that, and what does that mean? And I know it's not, if anyone's thinking, that has nothing to do with something out of your shirt. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Oh, this little frayed thing right here. But can you talk to some of the what you guys see coming down the line, what we should be paying attention to? I know on previous episodes been really dived into a lot on TikTok, and I think obviously there's still a lot there, but I'm interested to hear about the
Yeah.
future.
Well, absolutely. For the listeners listening that don't know, what Threads is, another app and is basically a copycat from Twitter. And you're going to hear a lot of it being said like that. And what it does is it takes your existing Instagram account and basically takes it to this new app. So you don't have to start from scratch of finding a bunch of followers and trying to gain a bunch of followers. It brings all the people that follow you on Instagram into your thread. And it's more, for me, I'm going into it like, oh, this is another great thing to be text heavy about and really edutain my followers on. And
Hmm.
related, because I find that on Instagram, it's more visual. It's all about the short form video content and watching all these little reels and TikToks and things like that. And if I have something big in the description of my content, I'm finding no one's reading it. Because they're making comments about something that was already in the caption. I'm like, okay, these people aren't reading the caption. So I think that's what Threads is good for, is to start really good conversations between doctors, between patients. Doctors are filled with so much knowledge. They can go in there and just pour in the importance of, certain orthodontic appliances or treatment and things like that. So I think it's a good space for a conversation. I'm going to be super open and transparent with you guys. When Threads first came out, I was like, okay, yay, I got to get on this as another social media platform to showcase myself. And I was gung ho and I wrote some comments and things like that. And then I found that it was just another thing to check. And for me, my mental
Mm.
health is important. And some days I can be all about social media and be obsessed with it. And then the other days I'm like, okay, I got to put myself into check here. I don't need to live on this. I need to make sure that I'm really having a healthy balance with going on social media and things like that. For me, I don't use it as often as I should, but Ben encourages any business, but we're going to talk to the businesses of orthodontists. He encourages anyone to have as many social media platforms as they can. So obviously TikTok is where all the trends start. So if your social media account or your practice has a social media account and it's on TikTok, you should have Instagram and take it and
Mm.
post that content on Instagram and post it on Facebook. And if you have a Snapchat account, a lot of orthodontists are like, "What Snapchat? We don't need." I'm going a little off topic here on the threads, but it all ties in together that the more social media platforms you have to showcase your office culture, your doctor's expertise, the value that these patients are receiving while in care at your office, all the before and after pictures and things like that, the better. When I worked in an office as a TC and we got Snapchat, we were all like, why do we need Snapchat? It's just you post a picture and it disappears in, I don't know, 24 hours. But what it was for us and what Threads could be for other offices was the audience was being referred to our office through Snapchat. So what I was starting to do as a TC, and I coach my TCs on this, is, and I'll coach anyone on this, is to do Snapchat takeovers. So while the patients are in the clinic and they're all sitting on their cell phones waiting for the doctor to come over to have an adjustment made, they're on their cell phones. So that's prime opportunity for any team member in an orthodontic office to run over and say, "Hey, can I do a little Snapchat takeover?" And just post to your Snapchat account and just say, "Hey, this is Billy and I'm Janelle, the treatment coordinator at so-and-so orthodontics. He's a patient here. He's got these cool, maybe it's light force braces or something like that. If you want to be cool like Billy, make sure you check out our office." And then that kid is posting it to his story with his hundreds of friends and things like that. So the more platforms you have to expose yourself and the more platforms you can speak to your patients and speak their language, which is social media, the better you're going to be.
Oh, good information. And as you are saying this, I'm thinking about what you said a little bit earlier about how, and I'm going to agree with Ben here, how eventually every practice is going to, and business, but especially every practice is going to have a social media curator, right? That position, coordinator, whatever we're going to call that. Who knows
Right,
what that name will come to be, but
right.
within their practice. And I believe that gone are the days of these really flat one dimensional interactions. We want to be and need to be looking for these opportunities. And I love what you said. We've got prime opportunities in our clinic. I can remember 17 years ago when I was building out startup practices, we were still building in the game rooms and the this and the that. And now televisions and all this stuff. And now it's like, why would you do that? Everybody is coming in with their own device. And why
Yep.
can we not be leveraging those devices and
Yeah.
leveraging the social media feeds that our patients are on? But it's having a plan for how to do it. It isn't just, I think what you're talking about is there has to be intention behind it and
Right.
to be planning what you're doing there as well.
And there's doctors like I, as his sales rep, it's my job to check in with our clients to not hold their hand. I'm not there to edit their content and create it for them and post to it. I'm there to offer critique, as is Ben. Ben does random audits on our clients and even messages them directly to their TikTok account, suggesting different things. But there's times where, as I'm monitoring some of our accounts, I'll say, "Oh, it looks like you haven't posted since July 6th, and we're pulling into August 25th here. What's going on? Do you need any help? What do you need?" And they're like, "Oh, no, we just been really busy and we put social media aside." And that's the light bulb that goes off, is these offices shouldn't just have some random person posting to their social media. They got to have a dedicated person. And
Yes.
I, as a TC, I made it, I ingrained it in myself that social media was just part of the digital workflow of the office. I considered it
Yes.
the norm in every new patient consult. And I train the front desk team members to make sure they post and boast about it at that new patient phone call. So when the patients come in, they know Janelle's going to be doing a TikTok or YouTube video or whatever with the patients. And there's ways around it when patients aren't into, social media. There's many times you get pushbacks from parents like, "Oh no, we don't do social media, we don't do TikTok." And you just note take it and you move on and we work around it. But I made it feel normal for every new patient. I made it think like it was part of their treatment plan. Just so you know, you're going to get on your braces. And then after that, we're going to take a bunch of pictures, probably do a little Instagram or a TikTok video or whatever it may be. And it became the norm and it was part of
Hmm.
their treatment plan. So you got to have someone that's really gung ho in your office that feels organic doing that and performing it.
Yeah, that's great. Any other hot hot things that you think are coming down the line that we need to be aware of?
Yeah, I can give you some little tips and tricks. I don't want to give away all the secrets that Ben teaches in the course, but one of the biggest things that I see a lot on especially orthodontic accounts is they create these awesome funny videos on TikTok and then they post it to Instagram, which they should do. They should be posting it on all their platforms. But the TikTok logo is still all over that video. And I didn't know this until I met with Ben and took the course. But when you make an account or make content in TikTok, which is like where all the trends start, which I didn't know either, and you download it and you go to post it to Instagram, I didn't realize that Instagram, it might be the best TikTok ever. But if you post it on there with that TikTok watermark, Instagram algorithms aren't going to push it to a large audience. So you're not going to get a whole ton of
Mm,
views because that platform, Instagram, is fearful that their viewers are going to see your content and be like, oh, they're on TikTok. Let's head over to the TikTok app. And now they're going to lose you. So you want to make sure you
sure.
remove that watermark. Same thing if you create a reel and you go to download it to your camera roll, it's going to have that little Instagram watermark on it. So before you post it to Facebook or TikTok, make sure you remove that for sure. And just be aware that social media is definitely a two-way street. There's a lot of accounts I see on there. The orthodontist account will have great content and then they'll have a bunch of questions from or comments from patients or anyone, and they're not being answered. They're not being liked and things like that. So really help with the engagement, and engaging in your community on your social media platforms is huge because you shouldn't just be broadcasting your message and getting out of these social media apps. Just really take some time to engage with those that follow you.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
again, I think it just goes to what you were saying earlier about the importance of taking it seriously, that we need a dedicated person in our practice. And it may, hey guys listening, it may not be you as the doctors. It may not even be you as the office manager. It could
Right.
be somebody maybe even completely outside of what you would look at as your orthodontic team members, somebody that is completely outside of our industry that is here just to help you curate and put together really good content. And I talk a lot about this, and I've said this a lot. Social media a lot is about the law of reciprocity, right? we're
Mhm.
gonna we're gonna put information out. We want people to like it, but then
Yeah.
we then in turn need to go back and, like you said, respond and comment on their things, because it's this give and take out there, and we can't just be pushing content and then not paying attention to what's coming back in, or maybe not paying attention to showing the love
Mhm.
to our followers by
Yeah.
commenting on the things that they're posting and the things that they're
Absolutely.
doing out there. So
And
thanks for making that be a good reminder for us.
yeah, and it can be either a part-time job or a full-time job to handle social media. And Ben teaches this in the course too, that you shouldn't just pull up the app, look for a fun sound and post it and then put the phone away. Usually I give myself about 15 minutes to scroll social media, whether it be actually all the apps, and find that trending content. And that's something else I want to
Mm.
educate the viewers on. And I didn't know this until meeting with Ben and taking the courses. Those trending sounds that you hear are little sound bites, right? At first, I back in the day would save a dozen different sounds or skits, and then when I had time, I'd go back and be like, "Oh yeah, I really like that sound," and go to do that. The algorithm, there's all this research and all this other stuff going on behind the scenes with these algorithms. So if an account or an office, I should say, says, "Oh, remember that one sound? Let's go ahead and create a skit around that." I bet you were going to get so many views. But say it's an old trending sound, the algorithm knows that people have since pushed past that sound, and now that you're using it, they know nobody likes that sound anymore. It's not currently trending, and it's not going to serve it to a large audience. So there's time and energy that you have to put into researching what's trending and things like that. And Ben teaches you all about it in the course.
Yeah. So let's talk just a little bit more about Busy. Now that you guys have been up and running for a while, you've had
Yeah.
doctors that have been using the course. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been seeing, how people have been interacting, and some of the success stories that have come along.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the course has three different modules. When it first started, it was Ben, and he was teaching all about how to organically run your social media accounts, all the ins and outs on how to search for trends, how to edit, all that. Okay. All he requires is an iPhone, an Android. If you're filming on content, decompresses the video, and some of the TikTok features aren't on there. But so he's got everything social media. Then there's also Noah. Noah is an ad agency owner, and he's the expert in TikTok and Facebook ads. So there's a series of modules that doctors or team members can learn on how to do effective ads that are going to save you money. And then there's a whole nother course, including me, which is all things TC related, enhancing the patient experience, really ways on how to differentiate your practice and how to include social media in that experience and things like that, how to handle patient compliance, all of that, because I found that patients stopped paying attention to me when I would hand them a pamphlet on what not to do with their braces. But when they watched a TikTok on it,
Yes.
they were super compliant. So that's one thing. But we found that as doctors started going on here, some of these doctors had no clue how to even do social media, or their wives were the ones handling it. And it just goes to show how easy the course is for offices that had no clue how to even create a TikTok account. And he walks you through this step. So we have one startup doctor, him and his wife were texting me like, we don't know what to do here. And I'm like, oh, watch the course. So they rewatched the course and they're like, oh, the light bulb went off. And then they started on the dance trends. And that's their culture, is to be that funny, cool doctor. And Ben doesn't teach you just to be that funny, cool dancing doctor. You can create viral content just by using type-it-ons or a patient's mouth or your patients, or if you have that go-to person in your
Mm.
office who loves being in front of the camera. There's all sorts of different ways on how to create good content. But this office was like, you know what, we're going to jump on the dance trends, and we're only going to post videos of us doing these funny dance trends. And they had much success. I don't know if it was their first or second video, but it went viral. And they were like, look at these notifications. We're off the charts here. So we've had great success from these offices. Same with the ones that were doing the paid ad section and taking Noah's advice. They had really good success from that. And there's just so much content that these doctors are utilizing. And what's great too is Ben, it's not just an online course. Yes, it is a self-paced course, but there's also added value in Ben directly messaging them on TikTok, telling them what they might have done wrong or how to fix the text on that current content, make sure they do it better next time, or sending them examples of really good content that they can mimic and mirror. We have monthly meetups as well that the doctors are gaining insight information, meeting with Ben one-on-one on a Google Meet with all of the clients, and Ben's going through all the things that have changed in the social media world that was different a month ago. And we do the same with Noah. They meet up with Noah once a month as well. And he goes through all the importance on what's changing in the ad area on social media. So there's a lot of added value. We also are working. So if there's any orthodontic companies listening, we also, as we add value to our clients, we have companies, whether it be dental or orthodontic companies, that provide discounts to our clients that are exclusive discounts only, so they're not offered anywhere else. So as being a busy member or client, they have access to these discounts with these companies, and hopefully these discounts will continue to rise as these clients continue to rise in fame and continue to do really well on social media. They can leverage those discounts based on their following and things like that. So a lot of great stuff is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like it. And I really appreciated what you said. And for me, it had a light bulb go off where we all know that we can use marketing companies to do some of this for you. But I look at this and say, okay, we also know that anything organic that we do, like where you're curating it yourself, will always do better. There are
Right.
companies out there that can do it for us, but they will never do it as well as you can when it's coming from you or a team member that's invested in your practice. And I look at this and say, okay, if you're serious about this and you can look at the cost of what might a marketing company cost me, to the investment into this, to learn the ins and the outs and the behind the scenes of it, so that you can take this knowledge and engage not just for a period of time where you're working with a marketing company, but for the lifetime
Yes.
of your practice and what you're going to be doing. To me, it just seems like such a no-brainer. And I
It
really
is.
appreciate that Ben has taken the time to do this and to get his knowledge out there for my clients. I know I've had a lot of my startup docs that have signed up to do this because they're looking at this for the long haul. They're looking
Mm-hmm.
at this for the long-term investment. And just
Yep.
like we invest in continuing education, this is an investment in your marketing strategy for the future. You
Right.
have to be committed to doing it, just like going to a gym, right? If I'm not, I can pay my trainer all I want, and if I still eat the ding dongs and watch the workout video, but don't actually do the workout video, I'm really not going to get a whole lot out of it. And so yeah, so I just appreciate what you guys are doing here. I think you meet a need that we have, and I'm always about doctors investing in themselves and investing in their teams. And again, there is a place for marketing companies, and not everybody can do this. And I think that's it too. I think you alluded to it. You have to know yourself, and you have to be able to commit to this. But if you're going to commit to it, what a great way to have a good roadmap to really be able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, no, I meet with doctors on discovery calls. And before I do that, I pull up their Instagram account or if they have a TikTok. And there was one doctor, they had a beautiful, aesthetic looking Instagram page. And they had all of these posts that I don't know if it was like teal and yellow. And it was all these stock images with text heavy. And it was beautiful looking. And I said, what attracted you to Busy? Why are, you jumping on this call? How can we help you? And he's, I'm spending about $7,000 with a marketing company to post to my social media, but it's not a referral source. We're not getting in new patients. And I said, are you getting engagements? Are you getting a lot of likes and a lot of shares of your comments and or your content, a lot of posts? And they're like, no. And that's what social media is. It's a two-way conversation. It's not just a
Mm-hmm.
website. Those images are beautiful and they've done a great job, but you're right, it's not bringing in patients. You have to turn that around, showcase to your patients what you're all about. Social media nowadays is all about short form video content. Those are the skits that there's so many doctors out there that are doing a phenomenal job showcasing what Invisalign is like and befores and afters all through using these trending sounds and what Ben teaches in the course. So it's been a complete game changer for that practice.
Yeah, great. As we wrap up here, Janelle, again, I love having you on the show because I know that the listeners have just come away with some really good pearls and
Oh,
just really rich content that you're giving us and ideas and thoughts. But as we wrap up here, any last thoughts that you want to share with us? And when you're finished with that, how do people get a hold of you guys? How do they find out more if they're like, maybe I do want to invest in myself. Maybe I do want to invest in the idea of something a little bigger for my practice. How do they do that?
yeah. First, I'm going to talk about something else that I learned through the course and through Ben is that, say, an orthodontic office has a TikTok account and they haven't posted to it for years or months, and then they decide to go post to it. Basically, TikTok has shadow banned them because they haven't used the platform in a while. So as they start to post again, they might not get a lot of views. Ben always encourages you to start a new account and have a name that if you're trying to become like the Bentist, come up with a unique name like that. If you want to keep it just your same old office name, that is totally fine. Or if you want it something unique that you think people are going to search, he teaches a little bit about how to come up with a name, but creating a new account might be most beneficial to you. So if you're listening, you're like, yeah, we haven't posted to TikTok, let's get on it. You might not be successful. So start a whole new account. Plus, the algorithms will serve you to a larger audience because they think you're new to the platform and they're going to want you to like the platform. So they're going to serve you out. If, of course, it's got to be good content. So that's one thing. But you can get a hold of us in a couple different ways. First, you can head on to the website or homepage, which is www.getbizzy. That's GETBIZZY.social. There's no .com or anything like that. So getbizzy.social. That's where you can learn a little bit more about the course. And then at the end, there's a calendar and you can pick a time and day on when to meet with me and we'll jump on a discovery call. These discovery calls are usually anywhere from a half hour to an hour, depending on how well the conversation's going, how many questions, things like that. I always ask for all decision makers to be on there because I go over the financials. If you have someone in your office who you think might be your social media guru, have them jump on the call. I meet
Mm.
with doctors, I meet with PCs who want to do the social media. So just make sure everyone that's really going to be jumping in on this is on that call. Or you can get a hold of me. I'm on my new platforms on social media, which is on both Instagram and TikTok, and it's the Ortho Influencer. So it's the underscore ortho underscore influencer.
Wonderful. Janelle, thank you again. Just such great content. And if you remember from the last few times, I like to finish us up with the speed round. You remember that? So are you ready to?
I'm here.
All right. All right. So let's just jump right in. All right. What is your go to dance move?
The invisible double Dutch jump rope dance. So if you've ever been to an orthodontic conference, you might have seen me do this, but I don't want to give it too much away. I guess it's not that funny, but yeah, my husband and I, when we go to weddings, everyone gets in a circle. Well, and then someone goes in the middle of that circle and does a dance. Him and I will improv picking up jump ropes and start doing that. And then you get the audience involved because then they start doing the double Dutch.
What's your favorite outdoor activity?
Oh, I'm big on paddle boarding. Summers are short here in Buffalo, New York, and we have a paddleboard for my husband, and I'm trying to get out to that lake as often as possible.
I love that as well. And then if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
For making people laugh.
I love that.
Yeah.
Janelle,
Oh,
yeah, it's been so great having you on the show today, and I cannot wait to have you on again.
oh, thank you. I'm going to mark my calendar.
All righty. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Hope to see you all soon.
Yep.